spices.
I love spices.
We love spices. Hi, I'm Meg.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Hi, I'm Arden.
Welcome to Plant Fit Meg. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I hope you'll take a look around at some other videos. I make videos about healthy weight loss, simple plant-based recipes, and living a healthy lifestyle. Today we wanted to dive into pantry staples and how our pantry staples have changed and evolved over time. We've been plant-based for over 5 years now, so in the beginning we had certain items on hand, and now we tend to have a lot more items on hand than we used to. So we'll kind of go through what we started with and sort of the basics of what we used and what we sort of needed, what our key sort of staples were, and then what that has kind of evolved to over time.
Yeah, much more variety now, of course, because we've gotten a lot more experimental with creating our own recipes and trying different ones out. But definitely, hopefully this is helpful.
Yeah, so if this is a helpful video to you and you enjoy it, remember to like the video and subscribe below if you haven't already. Let's dive right in.
Yeah!
All right. The first thing we wanted to talk about is potatoes. We all love potatoes, and even before going vegan, before going plant-based, we were big fans of potatoes. And so potatoes are a really nice thing to have on hand. You can do so many different things with potatoes. You can do mashed potatoes, baked potatoes, just so many cool things.
Fries, chips.
Yeah,
Those
of course.
are my faves.
And you can also, potatoes are really important to me.
Okay.
They're really important to you? Why?
Because they're yummy.
Because they're yummy. Yes, that's a very good point. We also keep sweet potatoes on hand. In the beginning of our plant-based journey, we really didn't have sweet potatoes around much. I don't think we really had tried them very much, honestly, or really liked them.
But we
that
really
probably
like
seems
them.
shocking to Riordan.
We
now.
really like them.
We really love sweet potatoes now, and we eat them a lot. The next two kind of go together from the allium family, onion and garlic. So onion and garlic are amazing to flavor your food in a variety of different ways. You can add it to pretty much any savory dish, whatever you're making, and it just adds a lovely burst of flavor. Really yummy.
And also, I just eat plain onion.
Rye likes to eat plain raw onion, so that's something you can do as well. Yeah, you can eat it raw, you can cook it. Really yummy.
Yep. And also, rice and quinoa are really good.
We'll get to that.
Bananas, they're good.
Bananas. So we always have bunches of bananas on hand. If you've seen any of our haul videos, you'll have seen our 2 or 3 or 4 bunches of bananas that we buy at a time.
Yeah, it's typically about 20 bananas per shop.
Yeah, so we always keep bananas on hand. They're great for snacks, obviously, and then we use them in baking for our pancake recipe and waffle recipe.
Yeah.
And toast and oats.
Yeah, we freeze them up, use them for ice cream and smoothies. So they're really versatile, a really great ingredient to have on hand for a variety of different purposes.
Yummy.
So next one is for legumes and beans.
Yum.
So as we're doing kind of our beginning list right now, when we first transitioned into eating a plant-based diet, we would keep it pretty basic. It would be black beans and kidney beans, and they would almost always be canned. I can't remember us buying dried at that time.
Black beans are so good.
Yeah. So when we first turned into a whole food plant-based family, we pretty much used beans for chili, and that was it. That was one of our big staple recipes back then. So we just kept it really basic with canned black beans and kidney beans.
And now we use it for what's it called?
What are you thinking?
That thing that has a bunch of beans in it.
Do you mean the refried beans?
Yeah, refried beans.
Yeah, we make yummy refried beans. We can link that to that recipe below.
Mm-hmm.
Now we buy canned and dried beans. So we have dried beans on hand that we can whip up in the Instant Pot. But then we also have canned beans that are a little more expensive, but more convenient for a quick meal, quick dinner, add it to other things and put something together quickly. So we like to have both on hand so that we have the convenience factor, and then we also have the, you know, less expensive dried bean option available to us as well if we have a bit more time. Lentils are amazing. I didn't know about lentils before going vegan. It's just not something that was part of what we ate.
We never ate them
wasn't
before.
something I was familiar with. Lentils are awesome. They cook up fairly quickly, especially the red lentils cook up really fast. And lentils are a great way to just bump up the protein, bump up the nutrition. And yeah, they're really easy to make, really delicious. And sometimes they just sort of disappear in the dish and you don't even really notice that they're there.
Yeah.
So that can be nice, especially if you're not great with the texture of beans. I know when I first transitioned to a plant-based diet, I really didn't enjoy beans. I didn't like the texture of them, and it took me a while to come around. So.
And we also keep a much wider variety, like types of beans. So
yeah,
we've already touched on the black beans and the kidney beans, and lentils are newer to us. Well, not newer to us, but weren't there in the beginning of our plant-based journey as they are now. But we also keep many different types of beans on hand. So we often have chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans, pinto beans, navy beans. Like we kind of, we run the whole gambit on bean types. It's really fun to mix and match different ones. As Meg said, they all offer a different texture profile, which is pretty big with beans for us. So it's really nice to have that variety available.
Yeah, and so if you're just getting started, don't be overwhelmed. Maybe start with lentils if you're not super familiar with beans, if you're not really enjoying the texture of beans. Maybe start with lentils, start with red lentils because they're the easiest and quickest to just kind of whip up on the stovetop, and then delve into other things as you go.
And you can also use them for shepherd's pie.
Shepherd's
Yes,
pie,
you can use lentils for shepherd's pie. We use chickpeas. We roast chickpeas, and we make hummus all the time.
Hummus is really good.
Hummus is really good.
We made hummus yesterday, didn't
Yep, we made it for our snacky lunch.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Whole
All right.
grains.
Whole grains are next. So whole grains, we love our whole grains. In the past, we kept it very, very simple.
Yeah.
It was pretty much just oats and brown rice.
Yeah.
And that was it. And then we would also have slightly more processed but still made out of whole grain cereals and pasta.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much it. That's where we started.
Yeah.
And from there we've branched out. Now we like to try different types of whole grains. We have different types of oats on hand, so we keep steel cut oats, oat groats. We have millet, farro, bunch of different whole grains. Quinoa, we love quinoa. Cooks up really fast in the Instant Pot.
And
So, yeah.
rice.
And rice, yeah. And we use different types of rice too, right?
Yeah, like black rice, brown rice, and white rice.
Yeah, we don't use white rice that often, but
Yeah.
yeah, brown rice, and we have the black sticky rice right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's up to you. You can keep it super, super simple and just have, you know, oats and brown rice on hand, just a couple of items, or you can mix it up and add a few more to your pantry. Another thing about whole grains is after reading How Not to Die by Dr. Michael Greger, I found out that popcorn is a whole grain. What? So that was a cool discovery. Not that you want to load up on popcorn, but that was kind of fun to learn. And we have an air popper that we use to make our popcorn. I'll link it below in the Amazon shop if you want to check it out. But yeah, that was a cool tidbit to find out.
And we had popcorn last night for book time.
We
did.
Our air popper is super convenient,
Yeah.
guys. I know Meg just mentioned we'll put it in the Amazon store for you. But my favorite thing about it is how easy it is to clean. It's a preference for me, the cleaning.
It's easy to clean.
Yeah. And you don't need to add oil to it
No,
or anything
it's
like
perfect.
that. You just put the popcorn kernels in. Good to go. And maybe add a little salt or a little seasoning. Sometimes we like to add a little bit of dill and nooch.
Yeah, that's nice, the dill.
Yeah, or some taco seasoning, something like that.
Let's talk about the canned goods, some of them that we keep on hand. And these are definite staples, even from the beginning. But now we're far more bulked up on them. So we keep canned tomatoes, like canned diced tomatoes with no salt added. And they're really multi-purpose for us. We use them for marinara sauces, chilies. We've used them for curries and all sorts of different things. They can be really great. They add that nice flavoring to so many different things. And then tomato paste we keep on hand in bulk these days as well. For me, the priority is the pizza sauce that we make out of them, but they're also used again for chilies, marinaras, all sorts of things that we do frequently. We now keep them in bulk, as I was saying, so we usually have about a dozen cans of each of these things in the house. That way, we don't have to buy them all the time. It's far less expensive to buy them in bulk. And we know that they're always there, as we are saying, as a staple item in our pantry.
Yeah, and those are a couple of items that we've always kept as a staple since, you know, day one pretty much of going plant-based, because our chili recipe and our marinara sauce recipe were our two go-to recipes that we used the most in the beginning. And so we always kept diced tomatoes and tomato paste on hand for those.
Do you have anything you'd like to say about tomatoes?
Yeah. I can just like eat tomatoes right away. Like I can just eat them
all day long.
Yeah.
Rowden loves tomatoes. For
I can eat them for breakfast, dinner, and also lunch.
Yeah.
They're really good.
They're good, bud. They're good.
They just taste like not cut tomatoes.
Yeah, but next are sauces and condiments. So once you open a sauce or a condiment, usually you keep it in the fridge, but it can be nice to keep some backups in your pantry, especially if you're running low on something and you know you're gonna need to replace it soon, or if you catch something on sale and you have the space to keep it on hand. It can be really nice to keep some things around. We especially like to keep salsa on hand.
They're really good.
These guys go through a ton of salsa.
We go through a lot of salsa. Our refried bean recipe goes through quite a bit of salsa as well.
And we use salsa also in salads.
Yes, we do. And we like to keep hot sauce on hand. I absolutely love hot sauce, and
with
so
Brussels
does this
sprouts.
guy, with Brussels sprouts and broccoli and potatoes and all that good stuff. And we also like to keep vinegars on hand, like balsamic vinegar, white vinegar, apple cider vinegar.
Yeah, and then I think most households have ketchup and mustard on hand. We use it for the traditional things, like when we do veggie burgers or veggie dogs, those sorts of things. But we also use it with mustard in particular for different sauce recipes that we build. So we can kind of use it as a base or flavoring to create new and exciting sauces.
Yeah, different salad dressings, and for our Brussels sprouts, like our smoky mustard.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's good. Did you have something else to say about sauces?
You said what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
Cocoa powder.
What about it?
So it's really chocolatey if you put it in your oats or something. But you don't want to put too much.
That's true.
Yes, that's true. So we like to keep cocoa powder on hand. As Raridan just mentioned, we like to add it to our oats. We like to add it to smoothies. We use it for our chocolate peanut butter energy balls, which are delicious.
Chocolate date syrup.
And cake.
And cakes, when we do cakes for occasions, yeah.
Yeah, and that's one we've always had on hand as a pantry staple. I used to use it a lot for smoothies. And
in the beginning, when you're getting accustomed to drinking green smoothies, because there is a different flavor profile.
Yeah.
If you want to keep it nice and kind of sweet, cocoa is a good way to add in that.
Well, if you want the chocolatey flavor, it's not really sweet unless you get one that's sweetened with whatever.
Yeah, but if you load the cocoa with bananas.
If you don't want cocoa, you can use a little bit of like dates.
Yeah.
Yep, dates can sweeten things up too, for sure.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Next on the list is nooch. That's what we call it, and I'm told many people do, but if you're not familiar with what nooch is, it's nutritional yeast. Meg's going to go into some detail on exactly what that means, because I don't know it.
Yeah, so essentially nutritional yeast is a deactivated yeast product that contains B vitamins. It's often fortified with B12, and so vegetarians and vegans like to use it for that reason. It also lends kind of a nutty, cheesy style flavor to whatever dish you're adding it to. It's often used in tofu scrambles and things like that as well.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how we started on nutritional yeast. I would say it was fairly early on in our plant-based diet.
When I first tried it and I heard that it was cheesy and I tried it, I was not convinced that it tasted cheesy because I think I was just too close to my previous standard American diet, and I was used to the taste of dairy cheese, cow's milk cheese. So now I think it tastes really cheesy, but I think back in the day I was a little skeptical about nutritional yeast, and we didn't have it on hand in the beginning. I didn't even know it existed when we first went vegan. But yeah, over time we started making tofu scrambles and other things.
Yeah, now we use it frequently as a flavor. So we'll just sprinkle it on green vegetables frequently. Riordan really likes it on his broccoli, right?
And I like it on noodles too.
Yeah. So we do a lot of cheesy sauces, and some of the cheesy sauces include nutritional yeast because it adds that to it.
Any recipe that we mention we'll link below. A couple of our cheese recipes are our nut-free nacho cheese and our easy cheese, which is like a gooey cheese that we use for a variety of purposes, but we like to use it for mac and cheese. Super yummy.
Yeah.
The last thing we wanted to go over was spices.
I love spices.
We love spices.
Yeah.
Spices are so
essential.
important for flavoring your dish and making it more nutritious and delicious, and it just boosts the flavor. It can be a little intimidating if you're not sure where to start with spices. It's like, you see the spice aisle or the spice,
it's overwhelming because there's so many choices.
So much to look at, and it's just like, where do I start? What do I choose? And especially if you're not someone who is used to cooking, which we weren't.
Yeah, if you've never spiced or seasoned foods on your own because you bought pre-processed or pre-made types of things that already have the seasonings in them, it's something to go through.
Yeah.
So we're going to give you some basics here of what worked well for us kind of in the beginning and currently. Our spice racks now, there's like 3 or 4 of them on the wall. They're huge. There's so many variants because we do a lot of stuff. But in the beginning, you can kind of start with a half dozen or so that are what we deem as staples.
Yeah, so there are so many different spices and so many different flavor profiles. If you already know of spices that you enjoy, then definitely keep those on hand. But these are just sort of our top 5 that we started with that have been really helpful when we first sort of transitioned, and even now we still use them. So black pepper, super simple, super easy to find. We like to buy the little peppercorn kernels and use our pepper mill, so it's really nice.
Fresh.
And we like it on noodles.
Yeah. We add black pepper to a lot of different things, pretty much anything, topping on top of vegetables, on top of grains, just any dish that we're making, we often add black pepper to it.
Yeah, black pepper's yummy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
Another one we use quite often, and I discovered fairly early on after going plant-based, is smoked paprika. And it's really yummy. It lends a smoky flavor, as you might expect. And we love to put it on top of potatoes, on top of vegetables. It's just really delicious, really like a smoky kind of flavor. I don't know how else to describe it.
I like to sprinkle it through hummus. Like Ryer was really saying, we made hummus yesterday. We just sprinkled some smoked paprika on top. It adds a little something, something.
Like a little bit of spicy.
Yeah, it was nice, huh?
Yeah.
Next on the list is chili powder. Now, of course, everybody kind of thinks chili powder, chili, right?
Yep.
But we use chili powder on top of potatoes often. So when we do potato style chips or fries, we'll do chili powders in there. We also use chili powder just to add spice to other sauces. We will put it on pastas sometimes. Many different things lend themselves well to chili powder. I know that we put it in our refried beans as well. So really nice, very simple to have around. Oftentimes households will. So it's a good staple item.
Yeah, nice to just sort of jazz up your meal a little bit.
Yeah. The next one is kind of one of my top picks. It's Italian seasoning, which is essentially basil, oregano, garlic, onion, all mixed together in a nice little neat package for you. This is by far one of my favorites. I love Italian style foods. So we will use it in marinara sauces. We use it in pizza sauces. We use it on, we do our own version of garlicky toast with this on top. We will use it on potatoes and fries, or if you're doing like a hash brown style thing, it goes really well on there. So many very wonderful foods in my mind have Italian seasoning on them. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. And our last but not least spice selection is one of Riordan's favorites,
cinnamon?
Cinnamon, that's right.
I like cinnamon a lot.
Yeah.
What do you like to add cinnamon to, Rye?
Applesauce most times, and sometimes to my oats.
Yeah. We use it in pancakes, French toast, waffles.
Yeah, it's great in baking.
Yeah.
It's great to maybe put on top of nice cream sometimes to just spice it up a little bit, jazz it up. So if you're just getting started on your plant-based journey, don't fret about having all the things in your pantry. Keep it simple. Start with things that you already know that you enjoy. If you already enjoy eating oatmeal for breakfast, keep oats on hand. If you already enjoy your brown rice, keep it on hand. That's how we started and then branched out and incorporated more foods as we went along and as we tried new things and decided that we really enjoyed new things. Like quinoa has become a real staple when we didn't even know how to pronounce it in the past.
That's true. And there's other spices that are staples for us now that we did not start with. Just a couple really quick ones. Cumin, turmeric, these sorts of things. We weren't huge on in the beginning, but now they are. So what we were attempting to do here is give you guys a baseline on what worked for us. Your household, as Meg said, is going to be different. Find what works for you, what you already know you enjoy. Start out there. But we can definitely guarantee that if you stick with a plant-based diet, your pantry staples are going to expand and expand a lot.
And it's really
varied.
fun.
And it's super fun. It's super exciting to figure out what new concoctions you can come up with. Like Rye's already pumped up just thinking about it. So it's definitely a good time.
Absolutely. And so let us know if you'd like to also see a freezer essentials, freezer staples, or fridge, or other items that you want us to talk about. Let us know any suggestions you have in the comments section below. Also let us know what your staples are and if there are any staples that you have that are different than what ours are, because that's always interesting to see what people have as their staple that maybe we haven't tried.
That's it.
Or we
like to be exposed to the new stuff.
Yeah. Or if you have ones that are the same, that's always fun too, and we can chat about that as well.
One more fun comment that you guys could talk to us about, sorry, I just thought to it, was if you'd like to see what our current full pantry is like. I mean, we've said that there's I'll do some organization beforehand, but having said that, it's wildly varied, and if you've been on a plant-based diet for a while and you're looking for new and exciting things, maybe we could offer you some support that way.
Yeah, absolutely. So remember to like the video if you liked it, subscribe below if you haven't already. We hope you're having an amazing day, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.